So
at homeschool, you
what
get
did
to have
you?
that choice.
Yeah. So what? Tell us about what you picked and why you picked it.
The one year we did homeschool, we did kind of a mix of Sunlight. I think I did Sunlight for language arts. And then I ended up doing Bob Jones for math, and I think actually Amelia did Bob Jones for language arts. And then, no, wait a minute. Maybe I did do Bob Jones for both language arts, and maybe I didn't end up doing Sunlight. I think I thought about it. There were a lot of books with the language arts, though, with Bob Jones also. And then we did Apologia, science books for science. And I liked all of those curriculums, but they were too much. It was too rigorous, too much to get through. And so we just weren't really like, the books were great, like they were very colorful. What are you doing? And so for us, it was too much. We ended up not really enjoying homeschool that much. By the second half of the year, I started like hugely modifying to cut back on what we were doing, and skipping ahead with some things and like cutting some, because I was like, we never get to do the fun stuff like the experiments and stuff, because it's taking us all day to get through the reading and the seat work.
Yes.
And for us, that was too much, and I don't learn well that way anyway, so I was not teaching well that way, because I was like, this is like
it's
torture.
Boring.
Yeah.
I'll just put it out there. It's boring.
So it's torture. So if those work for you and you use them, that's awesome. But like for my family, it didn't work. So I knew we wanted to do something different, and I knew I wanted freedom in my day. I didn't want my whole day to be bogged down. I wanted to have freedom to like go do stuff, or to incorporate things in, or to,
the answer is no.
Blow my own stuff up in my own kitchen.
We're not playing games.
Uh-oh.
Papa took my money over the weekend.
Uh-oh.
Because I was hiding against his chest. I accidentally shot him in the head.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Well, you could play Risk. You could pull out Battleship. Play some board games.
Parenting.
We're taking a break from
stuff,
whatever it is. The iPad and the whatever.
We set some parameters after, like, earlier in the summer, some extra parameters for our kids. Okay, so I ended up deciding to go with Gather Round. It's a unit study. I'm really excited about it. It's super colorful, and I think also it's it kind of covers, it doesn't cover math, but it covers your other basic subjects. And so it's fairly straightforward and simple in the way that it incorporates like all of the subjects. And so then there's room in your day to be able to add other books, or add more language arts if your kid needs, or add, field trip or something. So it covers all the subjects.
Yeah. That's cool.
So if you are like, I just don't have it in me to do anything else, or it's Christmas and it's really busy right now or something, you can like just keep it at what it is, or you can do add things in as you want. So I like the prospect of that. I haven't used it yet, but I like the prospect of that, keeping it sort of simple.
Yeah.
That works well.
So this is it.
So this is it.
This is the only book that you will use.
This is the teacher's guide.
I mean, this unit study is it. Like, it's going to cover all the subjects.
Yeah.
Except for math.
Correct. So we're going to do teaching textbooks, and
I just wanted to make that clear so people could understand, like, you don't have, like, the kids have their stuff.
Yeah, so this teacher's guide, and then the middle school book, they have this, and then I did get for Charlie a writing study, so that it does walk him through more specifics of like writing a paragraph at middle school level, writing out a paper.
Yes.
But that was like an extra thing that I thought, because he's in middle school, would be good for him.
He needs it.
But I like that it's super colorful. And so the first one is Eagle, and it just tells you all about the eagle. And then like, let's see, there's a couple that are really have like, this is the house the house shadow bird, and it just kind of diagrams it. And then there's pictures of like their eggs and what they would look like, and their appearance. And so you go through every day. So each unit would last like, well, it depends on how.
And then it covers, so it has language arts.
So it has language,
Stuff
yeah.
with
So
it.
it has.
Do you want to show that? You should just show that so people can
okay.
see.
So okay, let me see
If you can find, if not, that's totally fine.
And it does
But-
actually include some Bible also. So they have, so it has science like habitat, diet, life cycle. You know, it kind of covers science, and then it has your language arts. So it kind of it has some directions for copy work and Bible and spelling. That they'll do in there,
and for the different levels too. So
and
you
for-
can
yes.
use this for every age
so it's
group.
like early reader, early elementary, upper elementary, and middle school, you know, and high school, and it has different things that it's prompting them to do at those levels. Then there's also art, you know, like elementary is like draw an eagle, upper or middle school is think about like, no, that's different. Sorry, that's social studies. My eye jumped up. Well, yeah, but like it does include like social studies, like symbols and symbolism, like what does the eagle symbolize? You know, why does our country use it? Yeah, in America, you know, what does it represent? And so you're talking about the social studies piece. Geography is like, where do we find them? Where are they located in the world? What different kinds of eagles?
Which does help you if kids
yeah.
are like, oh yeah, where do eagles live?
Yeah.
It helps them to figure out.
Yeah, and so it asks them to like label the map of like the areas where you can find the eagles. And so it covers the different things. And I guess art actually said art is drawing an eagle. It just says to like sketch their own and try and use colors that would be like the eagle. And so there's kind of covers a little bit of art too, although that's a little bit, you know, quicker.
Yeah.
But and then it'll go through, so this study will go through like a lot of the birds.
That's cool.
And study all of the birds that this unit covered. I'm sure it's not every single bird.
Single North American bird.
The book would be pretty thick, I think, if it covered every single bird.
Yeah.
But it covers a lot of them, and especially a lot of ones that you know, you might see, like American crow. We have crows here, and ravens. Do we have crows or ravens?
They're I think isn't it synonymous?
Well, no, because a raven is smaller than a crow.
Okay. Our birds are big.
They are, so it might
I would
be
think it
an
might be a
actual
crow.
Yeah. But then they have a workbook that they do that they kind of answer prompts and questions in.
I guess Jackie and I should do this study.
We should probably do the studies so we know if they're crows or ravens.
That's right.
But I love that it kind of covers everything, but then I can build on it if I want. Like I can add more into it, or if I'm like, it's all we can do to get through this, then I can do that. And I like that flexibility, but you still feel like you're covering, like I'm covering spelling, I'm covering, you know, writing prompts, I'm covering reading, like there's readings, we're covering some science as far as like talking about the birds specifically, like, and then there's different units. So like each unit, most people say, depending on the family and whether they're adding extra things in or how quickly they're going through it, it's about a month. Some people take longer to go through it.
Yeah.
So then
you
we
could
would
use
get
it for like a quarter even.
Yeah, so I mean you could do like however much. Well, some people were saying they'll use it like 8 weeks because they'll do all these extra things, like they'll go to the bird aquarium or they'll go to, you know, so, and then each unit there's like different things it covers, like there's you know, like sea animals, there's, you know, biology, there's just different units that you can do. There's dinosaurs, there's, and so the unit will focus a lot on that, but then you can kind of pick, they have a unit for life skills. They have a unit, you know, they have tons of different units. So your kids can kind of choose also units that sound interesting to them.
That's cool.
There's transportation, there's technology units, and so it's just that's fun.
Yeah,
I feel like.
that is really cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
totally
and
cool.
for me, I feel like I can wrap my head around it a little more. So as we do it, I might say, yeah, I want to add some more stuff, or I might be like, no, I don't, or you know, so
it gives you time to actually think through, and maybe your kids bring up something that they're interested in, then you could go ahead and order that next unit.
Yes, and that was
cool.
one thing too, is like if your kids kids are like, I want to learn, I want to dig more. Like eagle, I'm really fascinated by eagles. I want to find out more about them. Then you can take a few days to be like, yeah, let's dig deeper.
Yeah.
You know, or they can be like, eagles, whatever. You know, you can go into the next bird, you know, or what. So I think that's...
I want to study turkeys.
I'm going to say turkeys. I know. I wonder if that's in there. So Amelia was just trying to call me. She probably wants to know where I'm at because we haven't spoken since about noon today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, how about, okay.
Yeah.
I'll
so
talk about...
when she calls back in a minute, I may answer.
Yeah.
She probably will.
So I did not go with sunlight this year. I actually was considering doing sunlight with history and science and continuing with it because I know that I was like, well, we can kind of work with it with history and science. But then I started delved into the good and the beautiful for language arts and also for math because I've been using Saxon math, which can be it can be a lot. Saxon, you do a lot of math.
Okay.
So I was looking at that, and then as I was looking at it, what appealed to me about language arts is it's all in one book. So like for the kids, it's like one book. The instructor's instructions are in the same book that the kids' book is.
Okay.
So it literally is just one book, and they work through it. And there aren't loose papers that you're having to like put into a notebook. It's already spiral bound, kind of like yours, and ready to go. You just
which is awesome.
Work through
and
it.
It's very colorful curriculum.
It's really
which
colorful.
I really did like.
So that is what, and I feel like that's kind of what a lot of curriculum is moving towards now. Like especially some of your newer ones, like Gather Around, or maybe not newer, but they've updated their stuff more because more people are homeschooling.
Yeah.
So their images and their pictures and stuff are so vibrant. Like that's what I was noticing about yours too. And I was like, I really think that that's just the industry standard is rising.
Well, because
for
it's like
the students.
Is it raining behind us? It's raining over there. But it doesn't look like it's raining behind us, is it? It's so weird.
No,
okay,
because
I was like, it's pouring! And then I was like, well, it's maybe not behind
It's
us.
like, actually, it's not.
Never mind.
To Colorado.
It's pouring over there.
It's pouring behind the house. But not in front of the house.
But not in front of the house. Yes, good old Colorado.
Yep.
Anyway,
pretty
sorry.
much. No, it's all good. So, and same thing like Jackie was talking about, that you can add other things on to that curriculum if you want. So like they have a handwriting book that the kids can just work through. So I grabbed this handwriting level 7, and it's just like any other handwriting book really, except that it does cover geographical locations. It covers, they have them write Bible verses. And then they even do have a little section for art, so it's not just handwriting. So you can complete the scene down. Okay. So that appealed to me. Just like you got, it made me chuckle because you were like, I got this writing book for Charlie. And I was like, I got books for my kids too.
Yeah.
And these are just prompts. So this was for kids who maybe struggle with, maybe coming up with writing ideas and trying to figure out how to write.
Yeah.
So they'll give prompts like fruit and the senses, like, and then they have the kids work through it in terms of like the fruit. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Smell, taste. And then that helps kids to start to gather information, because I feel like that's the hardest thing sometimes is they're like, okay, write a paper on this person, or write a paper about this event that happened in your life.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes for my younger kids, they were like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
Or all of a sudden they get that writer's block where they just can't even come up with anything.
Yeah.
And so I really liked the idea for that. Cora my oldest doesn't struggle with that, but my younger two sometimes can struggle with that. So that's what really appealed to me. And it's the same thing with the math. Now, what really made me go with their math is they have a QR code with each lesson where they have an instructor
that's nice.
teach. I don't have to teach it.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
my kids, like if we've got the iPad and the computer and maybe our little laptop computer, all three of my older girls can independently go do their math and have somebody else teach them.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I was like, that I'm giving
I know, that is really good. That is really good. That's what
so
we
I'm
did
not teaching 4 grades.
Oh my gosh,
5
math.
now. 5 because Vera is sharp.
Yeah.
She's only 4, but
she's
I
ready
got
for
her some
stuff.
things.
Yeah.
So
She's ready. Yeah.
yeah.
She's
So
ready.
for these little, so I pulled this out just so people could see it.
Yeah.
They have, all it is just little doodles. So they just are practicing just drawing, just writing, just to start to get used to that.
That's awesome.
So the other thing that appealed to me was their science. All of a sudden I started looking at their science.
Yeah.
And same thing, they kind of do unit studies. So they
Okay.
do so I picked geography and chemistry.
Okay.
And the same thing, that their pictures are just, they're just really beautiful.
They are that is one thing that
Right.
I really
They're
liked when I
just
was
really, I don't know if this even does it justice, but it's
when I was
very
glancing
vivid.
at their books that you had, because you ordered before I decided, that was something that I really loved. I was like, wow, this is really pretty. This is really cool.
Yeah.
But and we may add something like that on, but
And that's what's cool.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
was thinking, like I was like, oh, it'd be cool to peruse gather round unit
Yeah.
studies for some of my kids that are like, oh, I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
Then you could be like, oh, maybe we'll pick up a unit study from there.
Yeah, because
and
I
use
do
it.
know have a friend
So-
who uses it just for like the science and the I think she said geography or something, like they're just going to use it to cover those things. So it is nice that you can kind of pick out like what's the pieces
So that's
I want. And
that's the other cool thing with their language arts is that they combine art, they combine geography, they combine, like they put a whole bunch of stuff in with their language arts to help you.
yes, which is awesome.
And then
I
with
love
the
it.
kids, for the little kids, because
Yeah.
I've got, little Dennis and Vera, who I'm like, oh, it's going to be a little above their heads. Like, he might think it's cool, but he's probably not going to learn a whole lot.
Yeah.
They have this is the big book of science stories. And they have written, the Good and the Beautiful have written all their own books and curriculum. So what I love about that is I know that I'm getting stories that are going to be biblically based. That it's not going to have millions and trillions of years ago, blah, 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 blah. When it's like, well, the earth really isn't that old.
Yeah. And then you have to sort through that. And,
Right, and the kids are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, when did dinosaurs live? Like, and by the way, I did pick up this book on dinosaurs by Ken Ham that's for kids.
Yeah.
And so I was, which gives a whole different perspective than what you're going to read in any other book
Oh my gosh.
that you're going to get. And I was like, oh, this will be fun.
Yeah.
So
I do love a lot of the stuff that Answers in Genesis puts out. Sometimes some of their stuff is so in depth that you kind of have to like
you
take a
do,
breath. But or go through it slow. Like we kind of went through. I really did like how in depth their science curriculum went, Apologia, but it just took us a really long time to get through it. Like the kids were kind of like, I want to learn about
boggy.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think those are great resources if they want to do a more in-depth study, like if they're doing a paper or they're wanting to just on their own look deeper.
Yep.
But we like the spiral learning style better because we all have ADHD.
Yeah.
So
oh, your kids are like jumping from one thing to the next.
yeah. So it's like we are like, let's learn about Mars, and then pretty soon we're like, so and then Mars is like 7 pages on Mars, and we're like, we can't get through Mars. Yeah. So it's awesome. Like I love how in depth. I love that the information is there.
Yeah.
For our
I think
main
it's really
study.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good for us for our main thing. Like it's great to go deeper.
I feel like it's more of a side resource.
Yeah.
That's how I would use it.
Like if
is
I
it's
want to learn
side
about
resource.
a specific planet, or I do want to learn about planets more, I can kind of see what do I want to know about them, because there's a huge book all about them, right? And so
and they
there's
can
a
use
lot
it
of
as
information in there.
paper writing.
Right.
Yeah.
So they are a great resource, and some families use them only, and they love them because it's like mastery. But but we just couldn't spend that much time on.
Oh,
I love planets, but like
by the end where you're like,
yeah, we didn't even finish in a year the one book on planets, like because I was like it was too much. It was all too much. Everything I was trying to do was too much. So
so it sounds like we both have kind of simplified. and then made it so that if we want to go more in depth or expand or go deeper.
Yeah. Well,
It's
and
easier.
that's, you know, what we also talked about before the video is like, because I had a lot of fear, especially that first year, and then especially like as I was rethinking about it, like,
Yeah.
what if I set them up to fail because we're not covering all the stuff? So it was like, you have to check all the boxes so that you know. And it was like, worst case scenario, they graduate high school and they do a year at community college.
Yeah.
If their plan is to go to a 4-year.
Yeah.
You know, because worst case scenario, they missed a little bit of something somewhere and just need to get a recap or go a little deeper because they didn't quite get what they needed to pursue what they want to pursue. Like, okay, is that really the end of the world if that's the case, right?
No.
Like, do I need to make learning torturous and rigorous and
Right.
not fun for any of us because the boxes must be checked?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
boxes must be checked.
Exactly.
You sit down till all your boxes are checked.
And that sounds like an idol.
I mean, some people love that structure and do well in that structure.
Yeah.
I start to feel confined by it.
Right. Well,
and
because if
start
I don't
fighting
check
it.
all the boxes on that day, then the next day I feel like I have to check all the ones I didn't get and the
Plus
ones.
the other ones.
And
Yeah.
so then it was like,
Yeah.
and just so people know, because we did talk about this, I kind of did that. My senior year, the beginning of my senior year, I studied, I took the GED, I got my general education diploma. It actually says New Mexico High School diploma on it though. And then that second part of my senior year, I went to the community college.
Yeah.
And I took some bonehead courses.
Yeah. And you were able to do that, and it kind
And
of
then I went to college.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Right. Yeah.
and I graduated.
Yeah. So there are options. And like we talked about, because I was in a high school system where I was required to take 4 classes my senior year each semester, I only needed 2 classes to graduate, but I was required to take 4 each semester. So I had to be in school. I couldn't do just those 2. I had to do a minimum of 4 classes both semesters. So I technically could, and the 2 classes I really need were not offered both semesters. One was offered the first semester and one was offered the second semester, and that's when you took them. So you couldn't just be like, I'll be done after 1 semester then. And so like with homeschool, that's, you don't run into that. You can take it when you want.
Yeah.
You can take it in the summer if you want.
That's right. Yep. And there's so many online classes now that you can take that can prepare you for college.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I have a friend who just,
I feel like the whole, like, schooling is just, I feel like it's opened up more.
yeah. My friend just sent me like a couple resources where you can take courses if your kids are interested in those subjects.
Yeah.
It's like a 1 course or like a 1, so they can dig deeper in the area that they're interested
Cool. Yeah.
in. And I don't know if we'll utilize it, but I'm gonna give them that option.
Yeah.
So you know, I think that's awesome. Anyway, we have gone 36
Gone way
minutes.
over, but hopefully this has been helpful.
Yeah, hopefully it has been, because I think probably what I would just say, or what I would want you to say if you're thinking about it, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you see the curriculum that you did order and you're like, holy crapola, how are we going to get through this? Like, it's okay to modify a little bit. It's okay to slow down. Your kids are going to be, they're going to be okay.
They're going to be fine.
They're going to get what they need.
Keep doing what you're doing. They're going to be fine.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Teach them to learn and to love learning.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And then they'll be able to go as far as they want to go with that. Well, now that baby cakes is grumpy and we've gone 37 minutes. Wow.
It's been good though.
Yeah. Have a wonderful, that's what we said.
That's
said
what
it's
we
been
think.
good. It's been amazing. Tell us what your curriculum you're using, how you decided on that.
Yep.
And we will see you next week.
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.